stew pork, brown stew pork, whatever name you call it, essentially we need to season it first. Now, I like sticking as close as possible to the traditional way, the way my grandmother and her mother before her would do it. But slight differences, so you won't see me add any sort of all-purpose seasoning or Maggi or any sort of cube kind of crumble up. No, let's keep away from that. And I highly recommend that you read the label on those things. High in sodium. Speaking about sodium, well, first of all, I've got 4 pounds of pork in here, and I use the juice of half of a lime and cool water to wash it. Cut it up into, here's where you're going to tailor things. You can cut it up smaller, but you can see at least 1-inch cube I have here, big pieces, because the dish I'm going to do with this, it's going to take a while to braise. I want it nice and soft and stuff like that. So I purposely cut it a little bit bigger. Traditionally or typically, I would like it just a little bit smaller, maybe 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Yes, bones. There are a few pieces of bones, 1, 2, 3 pieces of bones. Again, normal thing. If you wanted to use completely boneless, totally up to you. A cheap cut with the skin. There's a tiny bit of skin in some areas, and I've trimmed off most of the fat. There's still some fat in there, but that skin is gonna get, when this thing braised for 2.5 hours, I'm telling you. But again, it's totally optional. If you want to go fully lean, totally up to you. And the cut of meat is totally up to you as well. If you want something that will cook a lot faster, get pork tenderloin. That's what I'm gonna say. With that sort of housekeeping out of the way, washing it, draining it, and cutting it up and stuff like that, we spoke about sodium. I'm going to go in with salt, and later on I'm going to add more salt as necessary once we get to the end of cooking it. Tomato, something totally optional, but something I like using simply because the acidity in that tomato brings a lot of properties like balance. Diced onion. A Scotch bonnet pepper chopped up, totally optional. If you don't like it spicy, you don't need to, or remove the seeds and the white membrane surrounding the seeds, and you will be better able to control the heat from that. Garlic. I have about 6 cloves of garlic. So 1 medium tomato, a full Scotch bonnet pepper, a medium onion, 6 to 7 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt. We will need black pepper in there, and we need about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. If you really like black pepper, you can add as much as you want. I'm just letting it rain that black pepper. Something my granny never put, but my mommy would definitely put, some Worcestershire sauce. And you got to have, in my humble opinion, a good brown stew, or stew pork, stew chicken, stew beef, whatever stew you make in Caribbean style. You do need grated ginger in there, and that is a heaping tablespoon of grated ginger. And the style of the program with all Caribbean dishes, Caribbean green seasoning, 2 tablespoons of that Caribbean green seasoning. And all you want to do now, and Caribbean green seasoning, if you're new to Caribbean cooking, it is just a blend or a puree, and I use olive oil as my base to help maintain the vibrancy, color, and flavors of the herbs. And there's scallion in there, thyme, Spanish thyme, cilantro, parsley. I don't put rosemary and I don't put ginger in my green seasoning. And as I said, the base is olive oil. I also have garlic and seasoning peppers or pimento peppers in there, and that is it. All you need to do now is give that a good mix, and you will let it marinate for about 2 hours. Best case scenario, you've got it overnight in the fridge. Bring it out about 1/2 hour before you start cooking, just to bring it back up to room temperature a bit. And you just learn how to season and marinate pork for making stew pork or brown stewed pork. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. If you enjoy this type of video, this sort of how-to kind of thing, drop me a comment below. Who knows, maybe I'll make this a sort of a regular happenings here on the channel. Irie?